Hi y'all, welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. You guys, today I have some steak and some mushrooms sauteed. It's a small little meal, but it's what I was craving. So let's say grace. Thank you, dear Father, for the food you've given us. In Jesus' name, we are truly thankful. Amen. Y'all ready to do this? Let's go. Hey, my peeps, it's about to go down. If you like what you see, stay and chill for a while. Hit the bell, thumbs it up, subscribe to our channel. We're going to have fun and do this mukbang. Okay. I have, I don't even know what it is. It's just some little bitty steak my husband got. Y'all, this little table is going to drive me crazy because I didn't cut my steak already. And it's just a wobbly. Wobbly. So how you guys doing today? I'm doing lovely. Guys, today I'm going to tell y'all, y'all know I love murder mysteries, true crimes, all that kind of good stuff. I'm going to tell y'all a true crime mystery that I just watched. It was really crazy. So, if you don't like the true crime stuff, that's what we're doing today. So, let's get into it. Well, but those faces were not cute at all. Good old water. Okay, there was this lady. Okay, she had she had 5 kids, 2 boys and 3 girls. The 2 girls, there was an oldest girl, an oldest son, a middle son, and a middle girl, and a young daughter. She was the youngest. So, the mother was whacked, y'all. She had these 5 kids. And the kid who was telling the story, oh, my hair got caught. It was like, they didn't know any better. They just thought everybody's, yes, I'm primping on camera, y'all. They didn't know any better. They just thought everybody lived this way. So, basically, the mother was crazy. She would make all the kids hold the other kids down when she was going to give them a spanking, a whipping, a beating. And she had this piece of board about this thin, about that thin, about this long. Oh, let me say about this long. And she carved a handle into it and she wrapped tape around it. So it looked like a paddle, a big paddle. So she made all the kids hold each other down when they were getting spankings. And if one of the kids let go of the kid that was getting a spanking, they got a beating. So this went on for years. One night she woke him up and they were like, what's going on? And the mother was like, you are playing like you're asleep. You're not really asleep. There's demons in the house. And he goes, what? And so she tells him to all go to the living room. She has his palette in her hand. She tells him to all go to the living room and kneel and don't say anything. So they all go in the living room, they kneel, and they end up staying there. He said he thought it was just going to be for a little bit, but they ended up staying there until morning came. And she looked around. Oh, and if they did go to sleep, like if they got tired or whatever and closed their eyes or slumped because they had to sit straight up on their knees, she would like hit him on the shoulder or hit him in the head with that paddle. She'd walk. She was walking the whole night constantly. And when it was over in the morning, she said, she looked around, the light hit, the sun come up, and she looked around and she said, the demons are gone. Y'all could go now. They had to go to school. They went to school. A bunch of crazy stuff was going on. So, the oldest daughter, she was like, this is crazy. She was really smart. She's like, this is crazy. Other kids don't live like this. We got to get some help, you know? So she runs away. And whoever she tells calls CPS. Somebody wanted that bite. So CPS comes. And she comes to the house. And she asks her mother, you know, is this going on, this going on? She said no. So they brought the girl back to the house. The CPS people called or interviewed each one of the kids And the mother was like behind the CPS lady, apparently, like somewhere where they could see. And they would ask the kids, is this going on? Is this going on? And the kid would like look up, and the mother would be sitting over there with her arms crossed like this. You know, so the kid was like, no, no, we're good. Everything's peaches and cream. So, oh, I didn't get a thumbnail, y'all. So let's get a thumbnail really quick. So, they were like, no, everything's good. Nothing's going on. Knowing that their mother's batshit crazy. So, as soon as they leave, the daughter, who, it's not funny, y'all. The daughter who called CPS and got all this going, the mother walked over to her and she said, you little troublemaker. And so she took her, she put socks on her hands, and she said, come on. She put the socks on her hands. And in their kitchen, there was a big round table with a middle post. It's like this, about this thick of wood. And the legs go out. So she handcuffs her to that table. And the brother said she stayed there for years. Not months, years. And after that, the mother slowly pulled each kid out and started homeschooling them, and left one, I think the oldest boy in school, and you know, just said that she was homeschooling the younger ones, so nobody would miss the sister. So this girl was handcuffed for years. She begged her mom, begged and begged and begged, please let me up, please let me get up, please let me get up. So one morning, he said his mom was acting crazy, frantic. And so she handcuffed her and let her up, and she was crying. She was like, please let me go, please let me go. And she was like, no, no, no. And she told her youngest daughter, which was probably about 6, I want to say probably about 6. She said, hold this gun, and if she moves, shoot her. So the daughter's been handcuffed all this time. She's like frozen in place right in front in the dining room by this table she's been standing at. She tells her oldest son, come with me. So he goes in there and they start making oatmeal. And he said his mom was acting all kind of crazy that morning, like batshit more than normal. So she starts piling like oatmeal in bowls and just hand them to him, and he was like trying to hold them, and she was putting silverware all in there, and he was trying to hold everything, and he was walking back to where his sisters and brothers was at in the dining room table, and a spoon fell and it made a big clanking noise on the ground. Well, the girl who had the gun on her, she flinched. The kid that was 6 years old, she flinched and shot her sister. Her mother went running in there. Their mother went running in there, and instead of really checking on her, she's like, look, what did you do? Look what you did. And the girl fell on the ground. And on the ground was this big throw rug. And the mother grabs a hand towel, and she starts pushing the blood away from the throw rug, talking about she didn't want it to get on the throw rug. Batshit, y'all. So she takes her upstairs, puts her in a big garden bathtub, and gives her like a Band-Aid, maybe puts peroxide on her, just very minimal first aid, and leaves her in the bathtub. The brother said she stayed in there probably a good 2 months. He said when she did get a little better, not completely healed, but better, the mom brought her out, put her on the table, and handcuffed her. Wow. And there she stayed. She was probably about 14 at that time. She stayed there until she was about 17. And she kept begging her mom over and over and over, please let me go. Let me go. I promise I'll leave. I won't contact you. I won't contact the police. You'll never hear from me again. Just let me go. I'll be less for you to take care of. Let me go. Let me go. She did this for like months. Finally, the mother said, okay, you want to leave? I'm taking that bullet out of you because that's evidence. And the girl's like, what? And she goes, before you leave here, I'm taking that bullet out. So, this is really good, y'all. I didn't ask my husband what kind of steak it was. It was really good, though. A little bit thin. A little steak. Anyway, so the brother, let me back up. She said she has to take the bullet out. The brother said that before all this happened, the mom needed income, so he made him get a job. She made him get a job, so he had to get a job. So he was working, and she wouldn't take him to work. She would let him walk to work, and he'd be walking to work, and he would see her car go by, and then he would see it go back by. Everywhere. I mean, he would just see it, just like the whole way he was walking, she was like stalking him, making sure he was going to work and not running away, and letting him know I'm watching him. So he would go to work, and he came home one day from work, and he saw his sister laying in the kitchen floor where the table was at, just laying flat out. There was blood everywhere. And the mom got up and she said, well, she wanted to leave. The only way she was leaving is if I got that bullet out. And he looks at his sister, and the other little sister sitting on the floor, kind of like just hands in blood, because she just helped her mom. She's just like looking like just crazy, like, oh my God. So she said, clean this mess up, but don't touch her. So he cleaned everything up, but he wasn't allowed to give her water. She was moaning. Wasn't allowed to do anything for her. And she was like moaning and groaning, and he could tell she was in pain. And he just had to leave her because his mom was just crazy. So she stayed there for maybe 5-6 days. And he came home from work one day, and he walked in, and she wasn't on the floor anymore. And he looked, and his mom told him and his younger brother, which was just a little bit younger than him, go get your sister's stuff and put it in a box. She wants to leave. We're packing her stuff up. So they're like, oh, okay, she's getting out. So they go up there and they pack her stuff up. What little stuff she had, because she lived under the table for the last 7 years. So y'all, my line is gonna fall off this table. Okay, so he goes and he's putting all of her stuff in the trunk. It's like a station wagon, actually. And he pops the back, and his sister is laying in the back. He's like, oh my God, she's dead. He didn't know. So his mom and him and his other brother set out on this road trip, and they drive for hours. Finally, they come to this place, and let me get this off of here, y'all. So they came to this little place, and she said, get out, get your sister's stuff, and put it over there. So they get her, and they put her on the ground, and they get all her stuff, and they put it beside her. And the mother goes, take this, and gives them gas cans and says, burn everything. So they go and they start burning all her belongings. The mother pulls a gun out, and the mother goes, set her on fire. And they're like, what? Like, really? He said he had no choice. She had a gun pointed at him, and he said he had to do what he had to do. He said he don't remember a whole lot. He kind of like blacked a lot of it out, and he set his sister on fire. And after a few minutes, his mom was satisfied, so they left. So they go back home. She's still following him, and he goes to work. And he's just like, this is crazy. People don't live like this. He's really beginning to realize, and he was like 15 years old. Other people don't live like this. And they never got to go over to anybody's house to see what a normal household was like. So he goes, and one day he comes home and his mom's screaming, yelling at the daughter that was younger than the other daughter that she just killed. She's screaming and yelling, and they're tugging on stuff, and he walks over and he goes, stop it, stop it. And the mom looks and the daughter stops. They stop fighting. And she walks over and he goes, he put his fist up and he was like, you're not ever going to touch me again. And she was like, oh, really? And he goes, you're not ever going to touch me again. He kind of backs up out of the room, and she kind of backs down because he's now bigger than her. And he walks on, and he gets his stuff and he leaves. He's going to go live with a friend he's worked with. So he's like, I stopped the fight. I stopped my sister from getting beat. That's good. So he moves, and he moves out. Well, about a week, almost 2 weeks later, his younger brother calls him and says, you have to come home. You have to come home right now. So he comes home, and his mom's smoking a cigarette, and she puts it out in an ashtray, and she gets up, and she goes, look what you made me do. And she opens this little bitty coat closet in the hallway. She opens up, and his sister's arm falls out, and her head kind of hangs out. And he's just looking. Later on, he found out, because his other brother said the day that he left, she got in trouble, and her mom put her in that closet, and she stayed there. She didn't give her no water, no food, no nothing. He said his sister was screaming, crying, doing all kind of stuff. And then she stopped screaming and crying. Then she started talking crazy. Then she started babbling. She started laughing. And she started saying all kind of weird stuff of what she was seeing. And then she started making weird wailing noises. And then everything went quiet. She basically starved her to death, is what she did. So she tells her, you're going to help me get rid of them. So she has a gun. So he helps her get rid of them. They go, and they have a station wagon. They go, and they're riding around, and they're looking on these back roads for a place to bury her. And the boys get out, and they're walking, and it's in the dark. And all of a sudden, they turn around, they look, and they see cop lights. So they hit the dirt with their shovels, and they're listening. And the mother tells the cop, I've been driving all night. I'm tired. I was just going to pull over and get us some rest. And the cop goes, and this was I didn't tell y'all this. Let me back way up. This was set in 1965 to 1970-ish era. And so he just looked there and he goes, this isn't a good place to sleep. He goes, it smells like a dead deer out here. That was her daughter in the station wagon. So the cop leaves. She tells her kids to come on, get in the car, because she didn't want to be associated with that area when the body was found. Huh? And they take her. They find another place, and they bury her. He goes home. He says, I'm not doing this no more. And he leaves. He got jobs. And he kept thinking, he kept looking like she's going to pop up any minute. She's not out of my life. 4 or 5 years passed, and he was still afraid of her. And he was like, it's not over, she's going to come back up. And he said he was always looking over his shoulder. Finally, one day, about 12 years later, he's outside taking a smoke break. And he's made a pretty good life for himself. He's outside taking a smoke break, and these two detectives come walking up, and they ask, is your name so-and-so? And he said yes. They put him in handcuffs, and they take him for question. Well, they asked him all about what had gone on, and he said yes. His other brother had been in and out of jail, and he didn't even know that because he cut all ties with him when he left. Well, I forget why. Oh, I think the other sister reported it years later. So the way it came out, and that was the story, the way it came out is that they charged both boys as an accessory because they buried and did what they did. And didn't tell anybody, even after they got out of the house. And people were like, oh, you should have said something, but they were terrified. I mean, I would say, for me, I'd be like, yeah, as soon as I got out, I'd call the police. But you never really know what you would do, because that lady had their minds warped. I mean, done buried 2 sisters that she's killed. So, his brother got a little less time than he did. He got like 7 years plus some probation, but he didn't do all that time. And he's the one telling the story. His brother got some time with some probation, but he was already in prison. And his mom, she got a life sentence. She should have got the death penalty. She got like a life sentence. And they showed a picture of her when she was in prison. This lady looked like a crazy, just a crazy lady. And she was old now. They showed a younger picture of her, and they showed an older picture of her. Y'all, this lady looks, when I looked at that picture, I was like, oh, she was like really evilly scary. She ended up dying, and he goes, they showed him a picture, and he goes, I have no ties, no nothing. He goes, this picture makes me actually ill. So look out. And he was physically shaking when he was looking at the picture, because he hasn't had anything to do with her in years. Yeah, y'all, that shit was crazy. Who does it to their kids? And to live your whole life chained to a table, y'all. Handcuffed to a table. Your whole life. Basically. She was probably about 10, 8, 9, I would say about 10 when she went under the table. When she finally got out, she was 18, but she was murdered. That's just crazy. Anyways, guys, I am full. Thank y'all for coming and listening to my true crime story. I love watching true crimes. I love watching the ID channel. I love it. So if y'all want to hear more stories like this, because I have so many, because that's the only thing I watch. Y'all let me know down below, because I have a bunch of stories like that. Excuse me. Anyway, you guys, thank y'all for coming and joining me, and I appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Peace out, my peeps.